If you're an Etsy seller, you know how crucial it is to get your listings ranking on the first few pages of search results because let's be honest, shoppers hardly ever look past the first or second page of results when deciding what they're going to purchase. As a seller, this can be a really daunting task because there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of competing listings in almost every niche. That's why in today's video, we're breaking it down step by step and talking about how the Etsy algorithm works, how to optimize your listings using Etsy SEO tactics, and I'm going to share with you my exact method using one of my favorite research tools, Sales Samurai. Now, more on Sales Samurai in just a minute, but I did want to go ahead and let you know, as you're watching, you're thinking to yourself, this is an amazing tool. I need to try out this Sales Samurai. I do have a free 3-day trial linked in the description box below that you can use to try it out completely for free for 3 days. And if you input the code KATE20 when you sign up, if you decide to continue using it beyond the 3 days, you'll automatically get 20% off your subscription. Now, there's a lot that goes into Etsy SEO, more than I could possibly deep dive into in a short YouTube video. So in this video, I'm giving you my main points and steps in my process. But if you want all the details explained even further, then click the link below after watching this to hop over and watch my free Etsy Success Masterclass. It's a 60-minute training class based on my 5-piece system for building a thriving Etsy business that brings in consistent sales and consistent revenue. These are the 5 strategic pillars that work to bring my own personal shop to multiple 6 figures on Etsy and have worked time and time again for both me and my students. So you can click the link in the description box below after you watch this video to hop over and grab that training or go to etsymasterclass.com. Okay, enough talk, let's dive in. All right, the first thing we need to know before diving into the strategy is what is Etsy SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization, and this applies to Etsy because Etsy is a search engine, which means that a shopper can go on and type something in that they're looking for, and Etsy has an algorithm that has a system of scanning through all the listings and showing that shopper results for what they searched for. So in a way, the Etsy algorithm's job is to figure out what listings out of all the thousands of listings should be shown as a match to that shopper and what order they should be shown in. So you can think of the algorithm's process in 2 phases. First is query matching. That's the first phase of matching and determining which listings are and are not a match for the query or the keyword phrase that the shopper typed in. And phase number 2 is out of those listings that were determined to match, which order should they be ranked in? Which listings are the most relevant for what that shopper will be looking for, and which ones are the most likely to convert into a sale? Those are going to be the ones that are shown first on the first and second page of results. So in that second phase of ranking, Etsy uses 7 different ranking factors to determine what order listings should be shown in. These 7 factors include relevancy, listing quality score, recency, customer and market experience score, shipping price, translations and language, and the shopper's habits. Now, I do have a separate video that dives deep into explaining what each of these means and how each one is used, so that'll be linked in the description box below if you're interested. But for now, we're just going to focus on the top 2 because those are 2 of the most important of the 7. These 2 are relevancy and listing quality score. So relevancy refers to how close of a match your listing is to what the query or the keyword phrase that the shopper typed in is. If the shopper typed in the phrase customized leather bracelet and one of the first keyword phrases in your title and your tags and your description is customized leather bracelet, that's going to be a closer match than if you use the phrase personalized leather bracelet. They're very close and they could be interchangeable, but the one that's using the exact same wording as what the shopper typed in is going to be considered higher in relevancy. Now, listing quality score, that second factor, is also really important, and this refers to how often a listing actually converts from a view into a sale. The more often it's actually converting into a sale, the higher that listing's quality score and the more likely it is to be ranked higher and higher on those first few pages. So the key to all of this and what we're focusing on today for ranking on the first page of the Etsy search results is optimizing our listings with highly searched keyword phrases, also known as keyword optimization. Simply put, keywords are the words or phrases that shoppers type into the search bar and also the ones that you're going to be plugging into your listing in strategic places to identify your listing to the algorithm and tell the algorithm what your product is all about. When you're creating your Etsy listing, there are lots of fields to fill out, but there are 5 key areas or fields you'll want to focus on specifically for optimizing with keywords. These 5 areas in your listing are your title, your tag section, your description, the category, and attributes. So again, going into all of that is a whole video on its own, but for now, a couple key things to think of when you're crafting your listing's title is to create a title that's clear, descriptive, easy to read, front-loaded with smart bookmark keywords, which means you're placing those highly searched keyword phrases in the front of your title, and using lines or commas to separate the different phrases in your title to make it more readable so it's not just one big jumbled mess. Then you're going to fill out your tag section, which allows for 13 separate individual tags, which can be a grouping of a few different words together to create a keyword phrase. And you want to use all 13 of those because that is prime real estate to tell the algorithm what your listing and product is all about. In the tag section, there is a character limit for each tag, but as much as possible, you want to use multi-word phrases as opposed to just individual words. You want to diversify terms as much as possible. So if I used bracelet in one phrase, I might use the word jewelry in another. You want to prioritize specific long tail keywords that are more descriptive, like using the phrase custom leather bracelet as opposed to just leather bracelet. And though repeating words is okay and won't hurt your listing, you want to strive to make each tag as unique as possible to appeal to a wide range of shoppers that are typing in different queries. So for instance, instead of one tag being cat sweatshirt and then another tag being cat sweater, I might have cat sweatshirt and then the second tag could be animal sweater. I'm replacing the word cat with animal to hopefully be considered in a wider range of search terms. And then when I'm writing out the description of my listing, I want to take as many of those 13 tags that I used in the tag section and the keyword phrases I used in my title, which hopefully match a couple of those tags, and weave them in organically into the description as well. Now, I don't want to keyword stuff here. I don't want to just list all 13 of those tags in the description, but I want to weave it into what I'm already saying in the description in a way that seems readable, conversational, and natural. I also want to front load my description with keywords, which means that I'm taking the first few sentences of the description and putting the most important keywords that I'm targeting the highest right there in the beginning. Now, that's all fine and good to know what areas of the listing we're strategically optimizing, but it's all for nothing if we don't know what the right keywords to use are, right? So then the question becomes, how do we find the right keywords? Well, the first step here is to brainstorm, to really just get in there and think about your product, think about what you're offering, and think about it from different angles. Etsy has a whole list of different ways that you can brainstorm what your product is and what keywords you should use for it. First, we're going to think about descriptive words or words that could describe what it actually is. And then you can think about what materials or techniques you used to create it. An example of this could be hand-stamped jewelry. You could think about who it's for example, teacher gift. You could think about if your product is a good fit for special shopping occasions, like wedding gift. You could have solution-oriented keyword phrases like pantry organization, or you can even focus it on the style or size of your product. So for style, an example of this could be maximalist wallpaper, or a size-focused keyword phrase could be large table lamp. So one of my first steps when I'm trying to think of what the right keywords would be for my listing is to take 1 minute and to do like a speed brain dump where I'm just taking 60 seconds. I'm thinking through all of those different possibilities and just listing out and jotting down super quickly different words and phrases that could apply, different words that could be switched out with each other, and just easily and quickly getting it all out on paper as much as possible. Then once I've gone through that initial brainstorming brain dump phase, then my next step is to go and do some research on Sales Samurai. Like I mentioned before, Sales Samurai is one of my absolute favorite Etsy research tools because it has so many different features and tools so that you're making data-driven decisions when you're creating your listings and you're not just guessing and throwing things out there hoping for the best. So here we are in Sales Samurai, and I love the fact that you can get all of these different tutorials that explain exactly how to use each of their features, but my favorite feature is their keyword search tool. So I'm going to come here to where it says search, and I'm going to start broad and then work from broad to more specific. So when I start with a broad keyword, I'm going to type in something I'm thinking of that describes my product that isn't really too specific yet. It's still pretty broad. So let's say I'm thinking of offering a set of giraffe nursery prints. I might start by typing in something like animal art. Now it's going to pull up and show me all of the data that it has for Etsy and Google on the phrase animal art. Here we can see the phrase that I typed in. It'll tell me if it's a short or a long tail keyword and how many characters that keyword is using. And then I can see all of the Etsy data here on this top row. So I can see Etsy search volume, which is the estimated amount of times per month that exact phrase is searched on Etsy. So here I'm going to look for a relatively high number to prove that that keyword phrase is searched regularly and consistently on Etsy, which means it's a good keyword phrase to use in my listing. Then I can see the Etsy CTR, which is the click-through rate. So this is the percentage of times a listing using that keyword phrase is actually clicked on from a view. I can also see the Etsy competition, which is the amount of different listings and products that I might be competing with on Etsy if I use that keyword phrase. Then the second line here shows our Google information as well, because we not only want to rank on Etsy, but we want to be ranking on Google too if possible. So we can see the Google search volume for that phrase, the Google cost per click. This is for paid advertising if I ever get into that, and the Google competition. Now, if I continue scrolling down, I see a section titled Etsy's most most trending and Google's most trending. So this is a really helpful section that tells me different phrases and keywords related to the one that I typed in that are actually trending currently on these two different platforms. So if I look at Etsy's most trending, I can see animal art, which is the keyword phrase I typed in. And then I've got different things that are related, like Art Deco animal art, Africa animal art, bathtub animal art. And I can actually click on search volume to sort these based on the highest to lowest search volume. So if I keep clicking, I can now see the highest ones and it goes down to the lowest. So the highest one here is sea animal art. So this is not only great for giving me ideas for my listing for keywords, but this could also be a good idea for products in the future. I can also see the click-through rate to see which one is getting the highest amount of clicks and the competition. And if I keep scrolling down, I can see for that keyword phrase, the average number of views for listings using that keyword, the average number of likes, the average amount of photos that listings are using, and then I can see a list of the different best-selling listings on Etsy that are using that keyword phrase. Over here on the right, I can see a tag section, which is showing me the top tags from these best-selling listings that these sellers have input into their listings tag section. So these are all going to be related phrases that are working really well for these best-selling listings. Again, I can see the Etsy search volume for each one, and this is a great way just browsing through these to get some ideas and sparks of inspiration for keyword phrases that I might use that could describe my product in a more broad sense. If I find some that I like, I can click on the little heart next to it, which adds it to my favorites list, and I can even have different categories that I can add these keywords to. So if I need to create a new category, I can do that here and create a new name for a new favorites list, or I can use one of my existing ones. So I already have one titled wall art. I'm going to save that keyword phrase to my wall art category. I can continue doing this and hearting and favoriting any of these tags that I like and I might want to use, or I can also click this little copy button if I'm already working on my listing and I want to just go back and forth and copy and paste the ones I want into my listing. I can do that as well. And then once I'm ready to see the ones I've listed as my favorites, I can come over here to the left side where it says favorites, switch over to keywords, and then I can see for my different categories what my saved keywords are. But going back to my keyword search results, with this list of best-selling listings, I can click on the link to hop over and view it on Etsy, or I can come over where it says details and click this little I button to learn more about that specific listing. So now I'm looking at data for this specific listing on Etsy, and it's telling me everything I could want to know about this listing, including what category this seller has this listing under, how many words they've used in their title and their description, and how many images they've used. One really important thing to look at here is the last modified date. This is most likely going to be the date that it was sold last, so you can get an idea of how often this listing is selling by looking at that last modified date and see how old the listing is by the created date. You can see the price tag on the listing, and then again, you can come down for this specific listing and see all of the different 13 tags that this seller has used. We have to remember that success leaves clues. So we're looking at the best-selling listings because obviously something is working well for this listing, and we want to gain inspiration from listings that are doing really well. You can also scroll down, look through the different images they have. We can see that this one has some really great up close and far away mock-ups, showing it from different angles and paired with different prints. So this again gives us an idea for what kind of images might work well for this niche. Now coming back to our main search page, we said we're going to start broad and get more specific. So all of that was data for this kind of broad keyword phrase animal art. Now I'm going to get a little more long tail and specific with this, and I'm going to type in giraffe wall art. So we can see here for this more specific keyword phrase, we've still got really good search volume at over 14,000 searches a month. Usually when you get more specific and more long tail with your keywords, the search volume is going to go down, but your competition is also going to go down. So you're more likely to be discovered for more specific long tail keyword phrases. We can get ideas for these related phrases from Etsy's most trending and Google's most trending, from the tags section here. I can also sort this tag section by Etsy search volume to put the highest search volume first. So the highest one here is home decor, which is very broad. I might want to use that as one, but I would definitely want to sprinkle in some more specific long tail keywords as well. But I can click through these and look to see which ones might be applicable for my listing. One I didn't think of would be boho nursery, although that doesn't have to do specifically with giraffes. I could pair the giraffe print with some boho colors and that would be accurate, which is currently a really highly searched term on Etsy. And there are also some other really good ideas like wildlife art, kids room wall art, bathroom print. So I'm going to get some ideas from these, but I can also come down here and see the price spread for this. So this price spread is showing me across the different listings that are using this keyword phrase, what each one is priced at. So I can see over here the minimum one median, the maximum, and the average. Now I've got to remember for this specific keyword phrase that some of these might be instant download, digital printables, and some might be higher priced custom paintings from artists. So there's a wide range of prices that I could expect to see here. Obviously, if I'm offering an instant download of a digital printable, I probably wouldn't be pricing that right up here with the top at $320. But I can click and zoom in here a little bit to see how many listings there are at each of these price ranges around what I'm thinking. I can also come down and see the average number of shipping days on these listings and shipping costs. The more data I can gather around competing listings, the better. So I'm going to click on one more of these with the little eye symbol to come here and see the data on this specific listing. And I'm going to come down again and see what tags are being used in this listing to give me some ideas. Now, let's say I'm browsing on Etsy and I see a listing I'm interested to know specifically what tags that listing has used. I can see on Etsy, obviously, the keywords that are used in the title, and I can read through the description, but I can't see the tag section. So on Sales Samurai, I can come back to the search tool and click over from basic search to single listing, which is where I can actually copy and paste the URL for that specific listing I was looking at on Etsy to do an analysis of it. So here I pasted in the URL, and this is the listing I was looking at on Etsy. I can get all of the data right here, including all 13 tags that listing has used. Another great tool that Sales Samurai has is the Chrome extension. So once you install this Chrome extension, if you're on Etsy and you want to search for something, let's say giraffe, as soon as you type something in, you'll see these suggested phrases start popping up that have something to do with what you're typing in. And the little blue number here next to it is from Sales Samurai Chrome extension showing you the estimated monthly search volume for that specific phrase. So this is another great way to get some ideas of suggested keyword phrases, but I can also click over where it says 500 more, and this brings up the Sales Samurai plugin where I can do further research. So on the plugin, you'll see different related keywords here along with the search volume on the right, the competition, and the number of words that are in that phrase. I can also filter this search by a minimum and maximum search volume, competition number, and even word count. So let's say I'm wanting to find related keyword phrases with a search volume with at least 300. And I don't want any results that have competition over, let's say, 10,000. So I can filter that, and then I can always click on this search volume right here to sort them from the highest to lowest. So here I've got some phrases like giraffe ornament, giraffe necklace. So some of these may not be applicable for what I'm selling, but they could be, or they could give me different related ideas. And once again, if I find some that I like and I want to keep track of these, I can simply put check marks by the ones that I want to use. And then I can click to either download the whole list, download just the ones that I've checked, or copy the ones that I've checked so I can paste them into my tag section. I can also use this must contain area to put a word in that I want. So if I want this to get even more specific and I want it to contain the word art, then I can do that as well. And then I can always come over here and click reset to go back to the original list. This is just another great way to compare search volume with competition, looking for keyword phrases that accurately describe my product that I might not have thought of before, that have higher search volume and hopefully lower competition. Now, I don't pay as much attention to the competition as the search volume because it is possible to still break through for a highly searched keyword phrase, even if it does have high competition, but that's where your other optimization factors come in place, like having the right price point, offering free shipping if possible, having great images on your listing. So I use Sales Samurai for a lot of those different things, including the profit calculator, which is where you can come play around with the different numbers, see if you can figure out what the right price point might be to be competitive, but also have a healthy profit margin. Sales Samurai also has a competition tracker, so you can keep track of your competitors on Etsy and see what they're doing. A listing creator, an area where you can link your shop to get your own shop review and audit from Sales Samurai that makes suggestions of things you can improve. A holiday calendar to help you plan. There's just so many awesome features and tools that I think are super helpful for any Etsy seller. So this is my process for doing this kind of keyword research. And then my next step would be to compile my top 13 tags. These are the top keywords or keyword phrases that have the most potential based on search volume and competition numbers. I'm going to input those into my listing in that tag section. And then like I mentioned before, I'm going to use those same tags as closely as possible to weave into my listing's description. And I'm going to pick the top few to put in my title as well. I'm not going to be able to include all of them because the title does have a character limit, but I want to make sure to front load the title with a couple of keyword phrases that I'm really targeting and hoping to rank for. So friend, if you're interested in trying out Sales Samurai, don't forget to click the link below for your free 3-day trial and input the code KATE20 to get 20% off if you decide to use it beyond those 3 days. And also don't forget to hop over and watch my free 5-pillar Etsy success masterclass. This is going to go through not only Etsy SEO, SEO, but the other pillars that are absolutely crucial as well to grow and build a profitable Etsy business that brings in consistent revenue. I want to thank Sales Samurai for sponsoring this video and hope you know that I'm cheering you on in your Etsy business and can't wait to see where you go with it. Happy selling, friends!